Hello folks, this is Sullla once again. Welcome to another video for Teamfight Tactics. In the last video that I posted, I looked at an Inferno 6 composition. In this video, we're going to do things one better. We're going to go for an Inferno 9 composition. Yes, the rarely seen Inferno 9 setup. So it's going to take us a little while to get there, but rest assured, we will make it before the end of this video. This is taken from a Normal Teamfight Tactics game. The games that I've been putting up on YouTube have mostly been normal games recently because the ranked games that I've been playing are a pretty high skill level. Most of the people I'm playing in Teamfight Tactics are either in Diamond or very high Platinum, so there's not as much room for me to kind of experiment and test out different things in those games. And as a result, if I want to show different gameplay, it's a little bit easier to do it here in normal games like this one. So in this particular game, I was actually going to go for the needlessly large rod item. I ended up missing that, and so I ended up with the Giant's Belt instead. But I'm pretty happy with the Giant's Belt. Giant's Belt is just a very useful starting item. It builds into a lot of different things. If you're going for the spellcasting route, you can pair it with a needlessly large rod to make Morellonomicon. If you're going for pretty much any kind of build, you can pair it with other items to make a champion tankier. You can, for example, pair it with another Giant's Belt for Warmogs. You can pair it with the Chain Vest for a Frozen Heart, although Frozen Heart's not that great. And you can also pair it with the Negatron Cloak and make a Zephyr, which is one of my favorite items to make. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to sell the Yasuo, who is not really going to fit into any team composition I'm likely to run. There's the Zephyr, which takes 1 unit out of combat for 6 seconds. Really useful. We're going to get to see some Zephyr usage later on in this video. This is all pre-recorded, of course, since there's no replays for Teamfight Tactics. At the moment, I do not know what team composition I'm going to be running. I've actually been trying to test out the 6 Berserkers composition, but I haven't managed to get good footage of that yet in order to do a video on it. So at the moment, I went ahead and sold the Yasuo, just picked up a bench full of units. So I just bought all of the units, and you see I put the Nasus and the Ornn in because they would make Warden 2 and have that extra armor. Here on the second chance to purchase though, I note that I have 3 different Inferno champions, and I was like, well, that doesn't sound that bad. I'll still fill out my bench with different units, but I figured let's go ahead and put the 3 Inferno units in. One thing that makes this map a little bit better for an Inferno composition is that you can, it is an Inferno map itself, which means that Qiyana will be an Inferno champ. She will be Inferno plus Assassin, same as Diana, so that opens up some extra opportunities with the Inferno composition. Number one, it's just easier to reach Inferno 6 and even Inferno 9 by having Qiyana as an Inferno champ instead of, one different element. But it also means that with Diana plus Qiyana, you are only 1 away from making an Assassin setup as well, so you can plug in another Assassin like Nocturne or Kha'Zix, or even at the end of the game you can put in Zed, and it'll get you up to Assassins 3 to get the Assassin's Origin, I think it's officially called. So here I decide what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the extra gold that I picked up, I'm going to level to 4, which is something that you frequently see me doing. I'm going to clear my bench and I'll put in Braum. The idea here is Braum will stand there and tank, and he will just soak up damage while the other champions will use the Inferno to be able to actually deal damage. Now I'm going to look at the other team comps here. I'm not seeing anyone else running the Inferno setup, right? I think there's one other person who is going for Inferno right now. And I think it's actually the person I'm playing right now, Astral South here. So Braum managed to get off a block on the Varus Arrow on the other team, and even though Astral South is also level 4, we are able to win that particular battle. You saw I also made the Zephyr that takes out one of the enemy units at the start of each fight. So even though I have all 1-star units, this is about as good as I can probably do with 1-star units right now. Braum to sit there and block and soak up damage, and then the other 3 Inferno units to actually deal damage. And then here, I'm like, alright, definitely going to go Inferno comp this game now. I've got the 2-star Diana, I have 2 out of 3 Varuses, and I've also got the Zyra there to provide extra Inferno. I'm putting Diana on the Inferno Hex because she is going to benefit the most from extra attack speed. I wouldn't want to put Varus right there on the front line. Now, a word about positioning as I look at the other team compositions right here. By the way, someone put a Syndra like right on the front lines, which is really bad positioning. Syndra needs to be in the back. Anyway, like I was saying, a word about positioning here. So note that I have put the Varus in the back corner. This is a good place to put Varus in general, just because by putting him in a corner, he always fires those arrows, and he just is more likely to hit multiple champions when he's in the corner like that, as opposed to if he's in the middle of the room. He just gets more of those like diagonal shots off. Didn't end up happening in that particular round, because he only hit the Vladimir on the enemy team, but just generally speaking, that's kind of what you want. Now here I see the Kiana. I was like, alright, well, I'll definitely play Kiana 1-star over playing Zyra 1-star. She's a much better unit. So I maintain the same setup, Inferno 3, and I don't have anything else at the moment, but again, as I mentioned before, I'm 1 away on Assassins now, and I am still hoping to find another Braum. I'm hoping to find another Zyra. Like, I've got 2 out of 3 Brahms, 2 out of 3 Varuses, 2 out of 3 Zyras, so with some decent RNG luck, I should be able to 2-star these units, or at least that's the hope. Now I'm up against Too Thirsty Asian, who is running a Predators comp here. Fortunately, I'm able to take out one of his units, and there I go. I managed to kill the Warwick before it's able to get its ult off. And watch how much damage Cog is going to take from the Inferno. Look how much damage he's taking. He took like an extra 100 damage there, which is a lot this early in the game. That said, Cog is going to be triggering those Predator procs, so this is actually still pretty close, but Kiana just barely manages to finish him off, and I'm able to keep my win streak intact. Here we have our second carousel of the game, so I'm going to be one of the last ones to pick, which means I'm not going to have a lot of choice. I would most like to get, let's see, what was I thinking right now in terms of this setup? I think I most wanted to get the Thief's Glove because I have one, or Brawler's Glove. I have 1 Brawler's Glove on the bench. 2 Brawler's Gloves would mean a Thief Glove. Just generally a nice item to have, so I'm hoping that that's still going to be sitting there. Unfortunately, it's going to be the opposite side of the carousel from me. So I'm going to path towards that and hope to grab it, but the Senpai player grabs it first. So instead I grab the Nocturne. The Needlessly Large Rod is not a super ideal item for my particular team composition, but Nocturne is useful to have because if I put Nocturne in, I can make the Assassin buff. And right now, if I'm willing to spend 4 gold, I can do that and get Assassins in play. So I was like, alright, well, I'll go ahead and do that. So we'll put him over with Kiana so that they jump together. Because I want a 3-match winning streak, I would like to keep winning games, and it's worthwhile to spend a little bit of gold to be able to do that. I could also potentially look to sell stuff on my bench, but in order to get over that 20 gold threshold, but I'm hoping to find another Ornn, because that would give me another Warden to put in and pair with Braum. I'm also have 2 out of 3 Brahms, 2 out of 3 Zyras, 2 out of 3 Varuses, so I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to pick some of this up. I'm up against that Senpai person who stole the Thief's Glove away from me, and he is running an electric comp, but did you see the Kiana got off a really nice stun there, and so we're able to win that without too much difficulty, run the win streak out to 4 matches in a row. I suppose I should talk a little bit about what these Origins elements that I have in play are doing. So this is probably familiar to people who watch a lot of Teamfight Tactics, but we have time here, we can go over it. The Assassin thing that I have is plus 50% critical strike damage and plus 10% critical strike chance. Unfortunately, this is an empty board on champions down there. So the 3 assassins are Diana, Nocturne, and Kiana. They each are getting plus 10% critical strike chance. I believe the default rate for crit is 20%, so that would take them up to 30%. And then they do 50% more damage when they do crit. Here I am looking at the other comps. Again, only one other person seems to be going for an Inferno setup. That's pretty nice. The other thing I'm running is, of course, Inferno. Inferno is kind of the focus of this video, so I'll just read out again what the Inferno does here. Or actually, let's do that after this match. So I'm up against Lin So Hard. Lin is running a Woodland Druid comp and does get one of his units cloned, so that's not great. He's going to get an extra unit. But look at Varus's arrow. Again, that's the positioning I want to stress. Varus managed to hit, I think, 3 champions, almost 4 champions with his arrow. And so we actually end up winning that one. Actually didn't even lose a single unit. A little bit poor on the focus fire from the enemy team. They got all of my units low, but didn't actually kill anyone. And I think I was pretty lucky to win that. I was kind of expecting to lose that round because, again, I only have 1 2-star unit. So I am going to pick up the Nautilus. Nautilus is going to be a useful unit. Another Warden unit that I can use later on. Also could make Ocean if I'm able to find a Thresh. It's often useful. If you watch my other Inferno video that I did, I ran the Nautilus Thresh pairing with a bunch of Inferno units. It seems to work well because Ocean's just generally a great trait to have in there. So pick that up. I then sold the Orans. I was like, all right, if I put in another Warden, I'm gonna put in the Nautilus over putting in Orn. So I didn't feel like I needed to hold on to those Orans, or at least that was the thought anyway. Here's a good chance that this is a minion round. I can talk a little bit about what Inferno does. There I get a nice pickup in getting the Kindred, who will pair well as an Inferno unit with the Varus. So what Inferno does is Inferno causes spells and crits to burn the ground beneath the target. This is one reason why there's some synergy between Assassin and Inferno, and one reason why Qiyana is really nice to play on these maps. Every time she crits, she's going to get extra. Every time she crits, she's going to put that fire on the ground. And now I've got a very full bench, somewhat frustratingly so. 2 out of 3 Kindreds, 2 out of 3. Nocturnes, 2 out of 3 Brahms, 2 out of 3 Zyras, 2 out of 3 Varuses. I still only have the one 2-star unit. But to get back to Inferno, as I said, Inferno spell damage or crits burn the target, deals a percentage of the spell's pre-mitigation damage as magic damage over the next 4 seconds. And basically, the higher the Inferno, the more flame hexes go on the ground, and the more damage those flame hexes do. So we are up against Nezagini's comp right here. Unfortunately, Nezagini has a whole bunch of 2-star units and also has the Woodland Druid. So this is not going as well. One of the weaknesses of my setup right now is I have a very weak front line. I pretty much just have the Braum. Very nice timing for the enemy team there on the Ivern shield. Gets that off right before Ivern was about to die. And as a result, I do actually lose, and my win streak is broken, which is unfortunate. Would have been nice to keep that going. I did not want to level previously, so like right now I can spend 12 gold and put in another unit, and I'm going to put in the Kindred. So there you go. That'll make Ranger. Ranger, the ability on Ranger is, I've got it right here. Every 3 seconds, Ranger have a chance to double their attack speed for 3 seconds. Ranger 2 is only a 35% chance. Ranger generally doesn't become that good until you get Ranger 4, but I mean, I'll take it. So I went ahead and leveled to 6 there. Why? Because I could spend 12 gold, still be at the 40 gold threshold, not really dip into my economy too much, and also get a useful unit in there in the form of the Kindred. Fortunately, we seem to be much stronger than this particular setup. The Varus is going to die in the backlines, but my Assassins, who jumped into the enemy backlines, are all doing just fine. And so we're able to beat Mizar pretty easily. Mizar is in a lot of trouble, by the way. Mizar's only level 5, and Mizar's economy is almost completely shot. Only has 10 gold. That's a really, really bad spot to be in. Is both low on health and low on gold and low on levels. Really just is not in good shape. And this is part of what happens in these normal games. As I said, in the normal games you generally... well, let me just put it this way. There's a big difference between people who are in Diamond, or in the top 1% of the player base, and some of the people in normal games who are nowhere close to that. Just kind of a prerequisite is you need to understand how to run your economy in Teamfight Tactics, and some of the people in the normal games just don't have enough experience to know how to do that. Alright, so by the way, remember how I sold the Orans? Yeah, now there's another Oran. I would very happily sell the Braum and put in the a 2-star Oran here, but of course I can't do that because I sold the Orans earlier. I had a very full bench, so there was rationale to do it, but a little sad that now the Oran pops up after I've sold the Oran. By the way, this is another great example of the Zephyr in action. Note how I was able to Zephyr out that Jax. That Jax is actually the carry of this particular comp that Astral South is running. Has the Spear of Sojin, was on the Inferno Hex for the extra attack speed, and also had the needlessly large HUD. So I win that round because of the Zephyr. Without the Zephyr, I do not win that round. It's as simple as that. Zephyr's a great, great item. And it's allowing me to win some of these rounds that I really probably should not be able to win, all things being honest. Alright, so once again, we're at the carousel. I'd be happy to pick up another Brawler's Glove, again, to make Thief's Glove, but there's no Brawler's Glove available. And out of the other items, there's not that much I want. Like, maybe the Giant's Belt would be nice. I could also look to maybe take the Chain Vest, because that could make a Iceborne Gauntlet. But instead I say, no, I'll just take the Annie instead. Annie gets me another Inferno unit. And Annie's just, you know, a generally good unit to have in here. She will give me some extra frontline protection if she can get her tippers off. The biggest weakness of my comp right now is I have basically no one frontlining for me. And here we go, once again, another unit that does not make a unit, a 2-star unit trio. Look at my setup right now. I have 2 out of 3 Varuses, 2 out of 3 Zyras, 2 out of 3 Brahms, 2 out of 3 Nocturnes, 2 out of 3 Kindreds, and 2 out of 3 Qiyanas. This is some impressive RNG that I'm getting here. So just don't think that I high roll every game when I play Teamfight Tactics either. It's honestly shocking that I've only lost 1 round to date. Yeah, I've literally only lost 1 round so far, which is pretty amazing considering that my setup still only has 1 2-star unit. However, that's going to run out here. I had some bad RNG at the start of this fight. This is a Glacial comp that I'm running up against, and instantly froze my 2 units on the front line. Froze Diana so she couldn't jump to the back lines, and froze the Braum so he couldn't get his shield up. Now that is a Glacial comp, but I believe it's only running Glacial... I think it's only running Glacial too. Oh, by the way, here we go. Yet another setup where I have 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 Nautiluses as well. It's like, okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and look to level, and I'm going to put in the Nautilus so I can at least get some Warden. I also needed to clear up space on my bench too. So I'm doing that, and I was like, wait a minute. Let's just put in Annie, and then now I'll put in the Zyra. I was like, all right, let's try out Inferno 6. The problem with this setup, though, is, again, 0 front line. I don't have any 2-star units, and I don't have anyone in position of front line here. So this is not ideal. I am going to get the Zephyr to land there, and that's kind of nice to take out the backline. However, note how quickly my comp falls apart. Again, there's no front line here, so even though I'm level 7 and I have Inferno 6, this is not a good setup right here. Annie did not get her Tibbers off. If she had gotten the Tibbers off, I think I maybe win that round, because I really don't need much. I just need some units to sit there and tank while the Inferno damage kicks in. But a good example of why making Inferno 6 is not necessarily the right move here. So I believe that I am going to pivot out of the Inferno 6 in a minute here, just because I recognize I need some kind of front line to protect myself. And that's really the idea behind Inferno, running an Inferno 6 composition. The whole idea is you get a really tanky front line who just sits there and soaks up damage, and then the Inferno provides a lot of the actual damage. So you generally want to run tanky champs, and this is not running tanky champs, which, to be fair, I have not gotten a whole lot of. Very few Wardens in this game, which is what you typically want to pair with an Inferno setup. I guess I got the Orns, and that's about it. I've gotten 2 Brahms and Orns and 2 Nautiluses, and that's about it. So I need to make something here. Like, I managed to get to level 7 just fine, but here I'm going to go ahead and look to see what I can find. By the way, there's yet another Orn after I've sold the Orns. And I could find Malphite here as well. But again, I'm looking for more here. There's boy, yet another Malphite. I was like, can I ever get a freaking 2-star unit here? Everything is 2-star pairs, not 2-star trios. So there I finally find one. Nami, unfortunately, is not really going to help me. There's Orn yet again. And I'm still looking, and for some reason, by the way, this is one of my bigger mistakes in this game. For some reason, I do not go for the brand. As you can see, I just passed by the brand without picking it up. So this, again, this is really not a good setup. I've got the Inferno 6, but this is not going to work very well. And I'm up against someone who's made the Nocturne Blade Master. So honestly, I'm kind of lucky to kill as many units as I do there. And I lose that round pretty badly. So I was like, all right, early game was great. Won all those rounds. Won rounds that I really probably didn't deserve to win. But I need to come up with something here. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to drop some of the I think I'm going to drop, yeah, I'm going to drop some of the Inferno units and go back down to just Inferno 3 and get some kind of a front line in here, because that's what I actually need in this comp. So we're going to drop the Assassin, put in Taric, and then we're going to try to put in one of the other Wardens as well. So Malphite, and there we go. Alright, so this is still me trying to figure out what the heck I want to do here. But with the Wardens, this is going to go much better. So fortunately, we're up against Mizar, who's one of the weaker players here. So watch, Malphite gets his ult off, and then with that frontline crowd control, all of a sudden everything looks way better. Annie gets off Tibbers, Taric gets off his ultimate, and I win that round rather easily. Again, it was probably against the weakest player in this game, but still looks much better with the Wardens in there. So now I need to get some kind of setup. By the way, getting all these Namis in a game where I don't want to play Nami is very sad. So I'm going to move the Rage Blade over to Kindred. Kindred's the champion. I wanted to put that on in the first place. And then I'm going to put the Rapid Fire Cannon, so she's got a lot of attack speed. Let's move the Wardens up to the front lines so that they're up there. And let's see. And now I think I'm probably strong enough to go to level 8. So I'm going to look to do that. Not looking to spend more money right now. I'm going to look to go up to 8 if possible, instead of re-rolling. I'm hoping that I'm strong enough to do that. We are up against Nezajuni here, who's running the Lucian setup. Unfortunately, Tarek does not get his ult off. Sion got off a nice ult as well. Malphite did barely get his ult off, but that is still a bad round. And you can see I'm bleeding out health pretty badly here. In part because, again, I still really do not have 2-star units. It's been kind of incredible how few 2-star units I've gotten in this game. So I need to look to find something here. I need to get more than what I have right now. Let's see, is there anything that unfortunately there's not anything I super duper want here. The unit I really need to make is a Mumu. I haven't found him, so I'm going to take the next best thing. I'm going to grab Zed here. Unfortunately, I could have had Nami 2-star at this point already, but Nami is not really what I'm looking for in this comp. Probably in retrospect, I should have played the Nautilus plus Nami, because that would have gotten me Ocean 2. Like, I could have played that over the Tarek, which doesn't really fit all that well. And then I could have looked to put in a Mystic unit later, but that was a route that I did not end up going in this game. So I pick up the Zed, and why do I pick up the Zed? Because he will make an assassin for me. I can play Zed and get another assassin. So I'm going to go to 8, and then I'm going to look to put in another unit here. So this gets me back to Inferno 6, but now I have a little bit more of a front line. I'm just hoping I haven't bled out too much health here. And I have the ability to make another Zephyr, so I'm going to look to do that as well, because if 1 Zephyr is good, 2 Zephyr is even better. I'm not exactly sure why. We just wanted to make the item, I think. And I decided to put it on Malphite, take out one of the enemy's frontline units. Seems like a good deal. So Zyra will take out a carry in the back lines, and then hopefully I'll be able to take out one of the frontline units as well. So yeah, like I'm up against someone who is level 7, and I was able to take out 2 of their 5 units at the start of the fight. By the way, Malphite, a clutch ult on the LeBlanc over there in the corner. Managed to take her out. So I think I still lose this one, but at least it's a little bit closer. At least I won't take quite as much damage from losing this. Still, you can see I am continuing to lose health here. I've gone from the top of the pack down to one of the lowest. And then, after getting terrible RNG for most of the game, I get a huge bit of luck. I find the Inferno Lux. And that is going to open up the path to potentially getting an Inferno 9 setup, which I teased in the title of this video. So I don't need the Zyra anymore. I can sell her. I can put Zed back in. So now I've managed to get assassins, get the assassin buff in with Zed and Kiana and Diana, plus also managing to get the Inferno 6 in play. And I also now make Varus 2, even though he's on the bench. Again, I still have very few 2-star units in this build right now, but I'm hoping that this will work. Tarek gets off a clutch ult over there just to soak up damage for a while before the Predators kick in. And I still have the Kindred firing away. The Inferno Lux is tossing in more damage. And so now, with the addition of that Inferno Lux, now we are finally able to start winning rounds again. That was extremely lucky to get that. I think it made up for having such terrible luck in finding 2-star units earlier. Like, I don't know how many rounds I was sitting there with 2 out of 3 units, 2 out of 3 units, 2 out of 3 units, 2 out of 3 units. And the minute I sold a unit, that was the unit that I found. Like, remember how I was holding 2 out of 3 Nautiluses forever? Yeah, now there's another Nautilus in the shop. And meanwhile, I switched over to Tarek Malphite. Now I can't seem to find a 3rd Malphite to save my life. Oh boy. Well, in any case, what I really need to find is a Mumu. A Mumu is my path to getting up to Inferno 9, because what I could do is I could sell the Tarek, and then I could put in, that would get me to Inferno 7, and then I could put in the Varus at level 9, that would be Inferno 8, and then I could replace the Zed with a Brand or a Zyra. Probably should replace it with a Brand, but we'll see what develops. But my path is pretty clear to getting there. Here's another minion round. I believe that I'm strong enough to get to level 9 at this point. And by the way, there's a Thief's Glove, finally. I wanted to put it on Zed. The problem is I can't put that item on Zed because he already has the tier, which is unfortunate. So instead, I'm going to put it on Kiana instead. So there we go. There's the Thief's Glove. By the way, also holding on to the Needlessly Large Rod, if I find a spatula, I can make a Inferno Cinder or Bomby Cinder, the item that makes a unit into an Inferno. That would be fantastic to be able to make one of these units into an Inferno. Ideally, it would probably be Malphite, because making Zed into Inferno is not going to be that great, especially not for 1-star Zed. But like a Malphite ult, putting, like hitting everyone for Inferno damage would be great. So there's another nice, very handy Zephyr. So once again, the power of double Zephyr. I take out one of the frontline units, and then I also take that Brand out of the fight. It is only a 1-star Brand, but Brand always does a lot of damage. And so we're able to take that up. Look how much damage the Inferno 6 is doing. all those enemy units standing on the Inferno hexes. So yeah, I think, like I said, I think I'm strong enough to make it to level 9 here. That's the goal anyway. I probably need to make it about 2 to 3 more rounds, probably 3 more rounds, and I can make it to level 9. If I can get to level 9, the odds of Amumu showing up are much higher, because if you look down there on the interface, you can see the odds of finding 5-cost units is 6% right now. If I can get to level 9, the odds of finding 5-cost units will jump up to 15%. So more than double, and that will give me a much better chance of finding him. Also a better chance of finding more Zeds. I'd love to get a Zed 2-star here as well. He is providing that assassin bonus to Diana and to Kiana as well. So once again, we're going to get the double Zephyr there, although Zephyring Senna out of the fight is not ideal because it means it's going to take longer for us to kill Senna, and it means more time for Lucian to continue ulting while he's untargetable. So there we go. Now the Senna Guardian Angel triggers, and fortunately, we still did enough to win that round, which was a ghost round, apparently. So I did not manage to deal any damage. There's another Annie. So let's take stock here. I still only have 3 2-star units. It's incredible to have only 3 2-star units this late in the game. This would not be possible in the ranked games I'm running right now. I would have had to roll down and look for more 2-star units as opposed to sitting here econing. But since this is a normal game and the players in this game are not as strong, I'm able to do this. It's still, like I said, incredible. I have all these 1-star units, and I've made it this far in the game with all these 1-star units. So if I could find a 2-star Annie, that would be just fantastic. If I could find a 2-star Lux, that would be fantastic. 2-star Malphite would be amazing. Here, I managed to Zephyr out both the Volibear on the front lines. By the way, Taric just barely gets off his ult. Again, super clutch. And I Zephyred out the Olaf, which is really big because Olaf is not going to have time to get his ult off. If you look, by the time Olaf ults, his whole team is dead and he dies instantly. So Olaf getting Zephyred out of the fight is really bad for his comp. And so I'm able to knock Senpai down relatively low there. Now here, I finally get some more RNG luck as well, because look at what items I have here. There's an Amumu with a Warmogs, which would be fantastic. It's already gone by the time I pick. But there's also a Braum with that Inferno Cinder. I think I've been calling it Bomby Cinder, but I believe the official name is actually Inferno Cinder. So that will turn one of my units into an Inferno unit. So now all I have to do is put this on Malphite. When he ults, he will apply Inferno damage. And then I just need to find a Mumu, and we're golden. So let's put that there. And now I have enough money to get to level 9, so I can go ahead and do that. So let's do that, and now I'm going to put Varus in. That makes Inferno 8. So I could take Zed out and put in Zyra for Inferno 9, and that might be better. I'm not 100% sure if that's better or not. But what I really want, again, is a Mumu. I want to find, and unfortunately I don't find it there, although I do find another Taric. Still, Taric is not the unit I want here. Taric is going to be sold eventually. What I need to do is find freaking Amumu, and I believe I'm actually not even going to lock here because I don't really want Taric long term. Amumu is the unit that will unlock this composition, just as you saw in the previous, if you watched my previous video with Inferno, you would have seen that in that video as well. So here's the Blademaster Nocturne comp. It's not ideal for the Nocturne. Should have gone with more crit items. And by the way, there we go. So we finally get that. One of the things, instead of the Bloodthirster, the Nocturne should have had an Infinity Edge. Now, again, you can't always control that, but... So there we go. There's the Inferno 9. I'll read the official definition right here. Inferno 9. Let's see. Inferno spell damage and crits burn the ground beneath the target. So any spell damage from an Inferno champ or critical strike from an Inferno champ burns the ground. By the way, definitely should have picked up these brands. Like I said, this is the biggest flaw in this game. I should have sold Varus and played Brand. Because Brand 2-star is better than Varus. Yes, I'd lose the Ranger setup, but who really cares? It's that much better that I should do that. Now you could make the argument that I should have played Zyra here because that would unlock Summoner for both Zed and also for the Annie. But I don't know. Zyra is not that strong of a unit. The Inferno, I didn't manage to finish reading that. Inferno, spell damage and crits burn the ground beneath the target. With Inferno 9, it's 210% damage. And you get 5 hexes of fire, so like the entire map is going to be full of fire. Here's yet another chance to buy Brand that I pass up. Like I said, I think I should have just sold the Varus and played Brand because Brand 2-star is much better than Varus 2-star. And of course, the one unit, again, I'm not buying is the one that my comp is giving me tons and tons of. Lots and lots of Brands in this game. still, I did manage to make the Annie 2-star, so that's a big help. And now I'm still looking for the Luxes and the Zeds and the Amumus and Malphites. Also, I get a really nice item from the dragon here. I get a Warmogs, which is going to be really good on Amumu. Just not for the health regen, but just purely for the health. Because the big thing I need is I need Amumu to get his ult off before he dies. His ult provides so much crowd control. It can lock up a huge percentage of the enemy team. The big thing is just him staying alive to get his ult off. So by the way, there's another Inferno Lux. Once again, I pass on brand. I've been getting a gazillion brands. In the one game, I'm not playing Ocean Mage, and I don't need the brands. There's yet another brand. I'm like, oh my god, so many brands. I could have had brand 3-star in this game, though I don't know if I had the money for it. So anyway, I am, now that we're down to the last 4, I need to pay attention to who I'm up against. The only comp I'm genuinely worried about is the Too Thirsty Asian who's got the Blade Master Nocturne, so I'm positioning to deal with that Nocturne. I actually do not end up getting that Nocturne, but I am going to lift out 2 units at the start of the fight. The carry on this team is the Syndra, and watch, my assassins jump right on top of Syndra. She never gets her ult off. Look how much damage the fires from Inferno 9 are doing. They're just burning left and right. It's hard to see because it's like a gazillion little numbers, but it was like 78, 78, 78, 78 underneath that person. So now we have 2 and 3 Amumus, and oh, there we go. Now we can get the Inferno Lux. And since we're close enough to the end of the game, I think it's actually worthwhile to do this. I'm going to put the Inferno, sell the Malphite, which I've never found a 3rd copy of, and sell that in order to get Inferno Lux in play. So 2-star Inferno Lux is fantastic. Her ult will apply the Inferno buff, and she just does a lot of damage because they really buffed the 2-star Lux in this patch. 9.24B. So once again, I'm positioning to deal with Too Thirsty Asian. I don't end up doing that. Instead, I managed to zephyr out the 3-star Syndra. I was like, alright, well that's pretty darn good. And we're also able to pop the Thresh before he gets his shield off. Note the Mumu ult applies fire everywhere, so we win this very easily. And we don't quite eliminate Lin so hard. We do knock Lin so hard down pretty low. Also, my Ghost apparently beats Too Thirsty Asian. So getting down to the nitty-gritty here, just a couple rounds left to go. Also, apparently I forgot to unlock that unlock that. By the way, yet another brand. And there we go. Hey, there's a Mumu. This will make a Mumu 2-star. And that is probably all I need to win this game. I'm in good position regardless. But I think that the only thing I really need to do is pick up that Amumu, and that will probably lock this down. So even though I've had this has been a weird game in terms of random luck. And here I go, once again, going to position for the Nocturne, the only unit that's really scary on that side. Going to take that out, also take out the Aatrox. So behold the power of Double Zephyr. By the way, look at Chi. So Amumu again gets his ult off. Really, really powerful. And also watch Kiana here. Just watch. She's getting low, but then she gets off the clutch stun on Nocturne. And I don't know if I win that round. Probably do not win that without that. So yeah, she got off the really clutch stun. Now, it didn't end up mattering because that was a ghost round. Like, if I had taken some damage there, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. But obviously, you want to avoid that. So now it's down to just me and Lin So Hard. Apparently, Lin So Hard was able to eliminate the Nocturne player. I end up going for the Swordbreaker. I think this is a mistake. I think the correct item here is to pick up the Quicksilver to put on a Mumu. Just because, again, the key thing is Amumu getting his ult off. So Swordbreaker, not bad, but I'm putting that on the Zed, and the Zed is not my carry at all. Would have been better to get that Quicksilver for Amumu, which would have protected him from crowd control, and made sure that he was able to get his ult off. So here I'm looking, but again, not finding a whole lot here. So, like I said, a bizarre mixture of great RNG and bad RNG in this game. So now I just need to beat Lin So Hard. He's got the Mage 6 setup, so I just want to look to take out his key units. So watch this, I'm going to Zephyr out his 2 best units. Out goes the Syndra, 3-star, and out goes the Thresh, 3-star. So behold the power of Double Zephyr. Don't underestimate that. So watch, Amumu is about to get his ult off, he will ult the entire enemy team. Boom! Fire is absolutely everywhere. So the only one left is the Syndra, and she goes down easily. So yay! Inferno 9 for the win here. Like I said, I was a little lucky to find the Inferno Lux. I do not win this game without the Inferno Lux, but I think I still had a decent chance to top 4 this even without the Inferno Lux. Although I would have had to roll down. I wouldn't have been able to go to level 9. I would have had to roll down at level 8, and I'd probably get like a fourth or maybe a third. But that was the key piece of luck, and then I did have luck in finding the Amumus at the end of the game. Amumu is the key unit for any Inferno 6 or Inferno 9 composition. It is the one you need to get. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. If you like the Inferno 6 video, hopefully you like the Inferno 9 video even better. It's not something you're going to get a chance to run very often, so enjoy it when you can. I hope that you guys have been enjoying these videos. I've been having a lot of fun with Teamfight Tactics, so I'm going to continue making these even though not a lot of people are watching them. Until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Enjoy the new year. Happy 2020 to everybody, and I'll see you guys again soon.